if you have to describe classic BMW to someone, the first thing you can do is tell them or show them a photo of it standing in your house. It actually looks the part. You don't have to ride it. You can just park it. Standing in your house, it's a piece of art. Just the shapes, just the forming, just the way that it was built. It's just art. As you start digging deeper, you see the heritage, you see the history. And I just found it to be a brand of passion, a brand of just absolute German engineering, simplicity. I don't think there's an easier motorcycle to work on or to understand. It is the way it was back then. It was carburetors, points, condenser, fuel, air and spark. That's all you need, and a BM will run. And it was only when I really got into it and start digging deeper and opening up engines and just the way that the basic tools need it and the simplicity of it, the reliability, for them to put essentially these motors back in the day in aeroplanes. And the success rate was amazing. The modular system where you just bolt on, bolt off, things break down, you fix it. You can fix it next to the road. Replace parts, gearbox, you can just unbolt it, bolt a fresh one on and off you go. There are very few motorcycles in the world that you can do that. Usually it's a tear down, deep inside, lots of oil, not in this case. I think it's an amazing heritage, an amazing starting point for any enthusiast. Been flying now for 21 years, about 12,000 hours. We were talking about it yesterday, about how aviation or how my career job has influenced my hobby or is evident in my passion, in my sideline. There's only one way to do it in flying. You've got to do it right. If you think it's wrong, we used to always say, if there's doubt, there's no doubt. If something doesn't look right, it probably isn't. So it's quite nice to bring that into classic motorcycles. And if you're not happy with it, it's not right. You must have that warm fuzzy feeling when you've done the job. So yeah, there's a definite link between the two. And with aviation being in BMW's blood, it was quite something to go to the museum eventually in Munich and see a combination of aeroplanes and motorcycles, and all of them have essentially the same engine. fdworx started back in 2013, and it was really just a passion that was born. And here we are now, 7 years later, and that's all we do. Don't own any other bikes, no other classics. Just BMW. I'm a bit of a creature of habit. I've got my way of doing things. The house is asleep. If the weather allows, hop on a classic. I make my journey to FD, it's about 10 kilometers. And it's just absolutely quiet, no cars on the road, it's still dark. Such a peaceful thing to do, to just ride all on your own. Stop here. I walk in, grind some fresh coffee beans every morning. And by that time the sun is threatening to rise. Stand outside, the birds wake. I think it's a good way to start your day, is to set yourself up for what you want to do and have a positive attitude and good karma. And then usually that's followed by me walking in with my feather duster and just start at the door and walk back and just dust the classics. I can't explain what it is, but I find myself here 7 days a week if I'm allowed. It's a combination of the classics, the look, the smell, the old motorcycles, the passion that's behind it, and a massive part of it is the enthusiasm from others, the people you meet, the proudness, them to show their rides and visit and have a coffee. It is definitely a passion. It's something that I enjoy doing. My father has got an amazing track record with motorcycles. Everything he knows he's passed on. So most of my knowledge, the baseline, was all from him. It was all things that he unknowingly passed down to me by doing it and me showing an interest. Every motorcycle has got a story. Every BMW that rolls in here has got a story. And that's usually my first question. Where did it come from? I want to know how you got hold of this motorcycle in the first place. 9 out of 10 times it's an amazing story. It's my father's, it was my grandfather's, it was my first bike. That's amazing. And it's nice. Other people walk in and they say, oh wow, what is this yours? Whose is this? And I say, no, actually, this used to be this guy's father's bike back, and he used to visit his mom that he was dating back in 50 or 60 years ago. And just the stories, the stuff the guys did, where they rode, the weather, the time of day, nothing really mattered. The paintwork on some of these motorcycles were unique to the painter, and it required a steady hand, so it was mainly ladies that did it, and they did a fantastic job. Pinstriping was all done by hand, and especially the 90S with the smoke silver or the Daytona orange 90S. They say they used to know which painter painted it because no two of them are ever alike. They're similar, same but different. The care, the love that goes into it to know that you make it exactly like it left the factory 50 or 60 years ago, but just better. And we can proudly say that, not because of what I do, but because of how we do it. If you compare paint from 60 years ago, quality of paint, quality of bearings, quality of seals, everything, it's just better quality. So they are actually better than they left the factory. And we've gotten to a point now where everything is done here, except chrome. It's a specialized industry, obviously, and it's a costly thing. So apart from that, there's very little we send away. We acquired the tools throughout the years, engine, rebuilding, paintwork. We have our own spray booth. Everything's done on site. And some of the parts are obviously just expired. From the early 70s, the parts were fiberglass. The mudguards and the fairings were actually made out of fiberglass. So that was the natural way for us to go and see what is available, what can you buy. Some things are reproduced, available in Germany and the UK. But if they're discontinued, we need to make a plan. You can only fix something up to a point. We proud to say that we actually replicate many parts, many body panels, fairings, fenders, all of those things we make right here. And with that obviously comes engine work, rebuild engines completely, got all the tools to measure and do what we have to. The beauty about BMW is or classic BMW rather, you can find anything. You can find every single engine part brand new, and you can buy it from your local BMW dealer. You never own them. It's like classic aeroplanes. You never own them. You're merely a custodian. You enjoy them and you pass them on. That somebody else will find great joy because it is exactly the same color or model that his father had, and he saw photos and he never saw the bike because it was before his time. It's special. It's not a new motorcycle. It's not something you can replace. A battle to sell them. I've never sold a restoration in my life, one of my own. I can't do it. And I hope that my children will one day give it to their children. I know it will still be around. I know it will still work. And I just hope the legend continues with these old motorcycles.